Hello, dear students. Today, for our alternative English class, we will be learning a poem called Ode on a Grecian Urn by John Keats. Now, before we go to the poem, let us learn a little bit about the poet. John Keats was born on October 31st, 1795, in London, England, and died on February 23rd, 1821, in Rome, Papal States, Italy. John Keats was an English romantic lyric poet who had devoted his short life to the perfection of a poetry marked by his vivid imaginary, great senses appeal, and an attempt to express a philosophy through classical legend. His father was a livery stable manager, and as a child, John Keats received relatively little formal education. In July 1820, he published his third and best volume of poetry, Lamia, Isabella, The Eve of St. Agnes, and other poems. The three titled poems, dealing with mythical and legendary themes of ancient, medieval, and Renaissance times, are rich in imaginary and phrasing. This volume it also contains the unfinished Hyperion and the three poems considered among the finest in English language, that is, Ode on a Grecian Urn, Ode on a Melancholy, Ode to a Nightingale. The book received enthusiastic praise from other poets like Hunt, Shelley, Charles Lamb, and others. And in August, Francis Jeffrey, who is an influential editor of the Edinburgh Review, wrote a review praising both the new book and Endymion. Although his poems had been in publication for less than 4 years when he died of tuberculosis at the age of 25. Now, Ode on a Grecian Urn, this poem, it actually tells us, or say the speaker, he addresses the Grecian urn to describe and ask about the scenes on the urn. They are described to be immortal and very beautiful. Although these beautiful scenes are already seen in the urn, yet they will never be alive and they can't experience the joys of life. The world that the urn depicts is frozen, and the world that surrounds it continues to prosper in life. The confusing scene of the sacrifice reinforces that the urn doesn't hold up to the expectations of the real world. The final stanza displays the shift as the speaker states that beauty is truth and truth is beauty, for that is all he needs to know in order to be successful on earth. Now let us go to the poem in detail. First stanza. Thou still, unravished bride of quietness, thou foster child of silence and slow time, sylvan historian who canst thus express a flowery tale more sweetly than a rhyme? What leaf fringe legend haunts about thy shape, of deities or mortals or of both, in Tempt or the dales of Arcady? What men or gods are these? What maidens loth? What mad pursuit? What struggle to escape? What pipes and timbrels? What wild ecstasy? Now, here in the first stanza, we can see that the poet is announcing that he is standing before a very old urn from Greece. The urn becomes the subject of Ode on a Grecian Urn, so all of the ideas and thoughts are addressed towards it. On the urn, we are told that there are images of people who have been frozen in place for all of the time as the foster child of the silence and slow time. The poet also explains to us that he is discussing the matter in his role as a historian and that he is wondering just what legend or story the figures stuck on the side of the poetry are trying to convey. One such picture seemingly showing a gang of men as they chase some women, which is desirable as a mad pursuit, but the narrator wants to know more about the struggle to escape or the wild ecstasy. The position between these two ideas gives an insight into how he is projecting different narratives onto one scene, unsure of which one is actually true. Second stanza. Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. Therefore, ye soft pipes, play on. Not to the sensual ear, but more ended. Pipe to the spirit ditties of no tone. Fair youth, beneath the trees, thou canst not leave thy song, nor ever can those trees be bare. Bold lover, never, never canst thou kiss. Though winning near the goal, yet do not grieve. She cannot fade, though thou hast not thy bliss. Forever wilt thou love, and she be fair. Now, here in the second stanza, the poet he is actually introducing us to another image on the Gracian urn. We can see that in this scene, a young man is sitting with a lover, seemingly playing a song on a pipe as they are surrounded by trees. Unaffected by growing old or changing fashions, the notes the poet imagined the man playing offer unlimited potential for beauty. While the figures will never grow old, the music also contains an immortal quality, one such sweeter than the regular music. However, Keats says that the young man should not grieve, for his lady love will remain beautiful forever, and their love, though unfulfilled, will endure through all eternity. Third stanza. Ah, happy, happy boughs that cannot shed your leaves, nor never bid the spring adieu, and happy melodies unwearied, forever piping songs forever new, more happy love, more happy, happy love, forever warm and still to be enjoyed, forever panting and forever young, all breathing human passion far above, that leaves a heart high sorrowful and cloyed, a burning forehead and a parching tongue. Now, in the third stanza, the poet talks again on the same two lovers but turns its attention to the rest of the scene. Now, here, the trees behind the pipe player will never grow old and their leaves will never fall. An idea which pleases the poet. Just like the leaves, the love shared between the two is equally immortal and won't have the chance to grow old and stale. In contrast, the love between a man and a woman in the real world is imperfect, bringing pain, sorrow, and unfulfilled desire. Fourth stanza. Who are these coming to the sacrifice? To what green altar, O mysterious priest? Leadest thou that heifer lowing at the skies, and all her silken flanks with garland dressed? What little town by river or seashore, or mountain built with peaceful citadel, is emptied of this folk, this pious morn? And little town, thy streets forevermore will silent be, and not a soul to tell why thou art desolate, can e'er return. Now, in this stanza, Keats, he is actually shifting his attention to the second scene. Here, he wishes that he knew more about the group of people approaching an altar to sacrifice a lowing heifer. This group of people bringing a cow to be sacrificed, the poet begins to wonder about the individual's life. We can also see here that the poet attempts to think about the people on the urn as though they were functioning in regular time. This means that he imagines them to have had a starting point, that is the little town, and an end point, that is the green altar. He also imagines the little town as a deserted place because its inhabitants are frozen in the image on the site of the urn forevermore. Fifth stanza. O Attic shape, fair attitude with breed of marble men and maidens overruffed, with forest branches and the trodden weed, thou silent form dost teach us out of thought, as doth eternity cold pastoral. When old age shall this generation waste, thou shalt remain in midst of other woe than ours, a friend to man, to whom thou sayest, Beauty is truth, truth, beauty, that is all. Ye know on earth, and all ye need to know. Now, in the last and the final stanza, the poet talks about the Gracian urn itself. He says that this urn will remain even after everyone has died. It will still provide hints at humanity, but no real answers. The urn is almost its own little world, living by its own rules. He says that when his generation is long dead, the urn will remain, telling the future generation its enigmatic lesson. Beauty is truth, truth, beauty. The poet says that that is the only thing the urn knows and the only thing it needs to know. Thank you and have a good day.